I'm going to try to make a little short tutorial video about me trying to track down an issue that a lot of these Dodge and Chrysler vehicles have been having, especially older models. I bought this used one. And one of the problems I've been having is something I like to think of as ghost radios or phantom radios, where the radio randomly comes on and off. And I'm just going to show you a little tutorial of how I'm tracking this down. This guy right here, this 50. That is burnt out. The subsystem will stop working. And the subsystem is when a breaker is activated after you turn the ignition key off. And what it does is it runs the subsystem, which has got a timer, and it allows you to still lock your door, allows the radio to stay on as long as the doors are closed, and the mirrors and some other subsystems. And then after a timer goes off, the dome light, all that stuff shuts off. So that controls that. Okay. This is the other fuse box. I don't know how well it's showing up on camera, but I believe it's one of these two in the bottom is the fuse for the radio. They are still good, and they have a tendency to still be good. So I have narrowed it down to the circuit breaker. It's a CB1 25A, and I suggest pulling it out and getting the serial number, and then Googling the serial number, and you'll see a bunch of these on the internet. They are different variety of prices. I bought mine for $7. They range from $7 to $80. So there is a huge discrepancy in the price of these, but there should be a dime a dozen. So I went ahead and bought mine off of eBay, even though I don't trust eBay. And I believe that is sticking. As it ages, I have a huge chance of accidentally locking my keys in the car. So I'll order one of those, and I will keep y'all up to date if it works. I'm hopeful it works, because a lot of the forums online say it will. So if that is not it, that means it's a system behind the circuit breaker. So I have to go from that on. So basically, I routed it all the way down, and I came to that so far. So after that, I got to go further. So, all right, now I'm going to give a rundown of how I'm going to route the 0 gauge wire. This is going to be for my amp video, my amp installation. Now, I couldn't find a direct path through the firewall without taking a bunch of complicated panels off my dashboard. So I decided to pop a cap in the main body underneath the driver's seat, just before the passenger seat, and it's a great route. So I'm going to route it through there. The wire is going to be exposed to the elements. I might wrap it with plastic or tape, but I want to mount the fuse right here. I want to run the wire down over the wheel well and underneath the body, and I'm going to show you a little path I'm taking. Okay, you can see my screwdriver right here. My little camera. There is a little metal tab right here, and I pop that up, and you can feel the carpet. This goes directly into the cabin, and you can see through the structure of the vehicle right here, I can tie it along this path and go over the wheel well. See if I get a view of the wheel well here. My camera's kind of doing funky angles in my gimbal here. There we go. See the wheel, the guard, the wheel well. I actually had to buy one for the driver's side. So I'm going to run the wire over the top of this. So basically be following the body all the way down to this little tab right here, and poke a hole through the carpet and run along the wheel. And then alright, to kind of get an update, what I'm trying to do here. We got the DS18s, they're 6x9s, and I had to put 3 house screws, wall screws. They go through this plastic, and 1 small screw up here. And over here I had to cut a small hole on this wiring grommet, and then through this plug right here, and I got it through the body. And I'm going to run it up around the bottom of the dashboard, and then through the middle part of the console. Okay, call me foolish, but my car was having a hard time starting, and of course I had my cabin open the whole time. But it makes me wonder Is it possibly that the radio is not coming on because I don't have enough charge in the battery? And there's a subroutine that shuts off subsystems to keep the car running. So I'm testing that theory by force charging the battery. So if my radio comes on, I'm going to replace the battery tomorrow and check the alternator. But yeah, it's a good chance it might be the battery, which really disturbs me because Dodge doesn't have a battery light. Like, there's no indicator light, it just has a check engine light. So why would they give you a check engine light when the battery is going by? Why don't they just have a battery light? Okay, so I ran into a little bit of an issue. I checked the battery, checked the alternator. They're both fine. So battery is perfect order. The alternator was tested. Did a start test with the computer. I also changed out the CB1 A25 12 volt circuit breaker. There was one at my buddy's O'Reilly. I plugged it in, didn't solve my problem. So that means that whatever subsystem issue that I'm having, I'm not going to be able to figure out what it is. It tells your radio to come on and it stays on after the car turns off. Whatever that subsystem is, I am absolutely lost. So I'm going to have to do a bypass. And I plan on doing a bypass with a little switch, on and off switch that I got right here. I was going to put this in an arcade unit that I was building at home when I was going through kind of this arcade phase, and I kind of went away from it. So I'm going to try to put that next to the stereo so I can turn it on and off. It'll be a bypass. So these are the ones that tell your radio to turn on and off. They are linked to my doors, and my doors, when I turn the ignition off, doesn't lock. So whatever subsystem is, I'm going to have to continue to research it. But regardless, I'm getting kind of frustrated. So I'm going to bypass it by using the same technique I used with the red wire. I'm going to link it through the cigarette lighter, and then hopefully that constant current will tell my radio to come on. So I'm going to put 2 wires on both sides of this puppy right here. Alright, just to give a quick overview of what I did. This is the yellow drive wire going to the connector in the back of my head unit right here. I got it going to the switch going to the power bypass. You can see it red right there. So hopefully this will eliminate my issue. So I got my yellow wires right here. I got it completely unconnected. So, oh, that's an issue. The bypass. Oh, shit. I never thought about that. The bypass has to be connected to something. So after tinkering, I have discovered, yes, you can connect the yellow and red wire together. So I got the bypass still working. So I can turn my radio off and turn it back on. I am bypassing the system. So no more yellow wires. So that subsystem is not going to keep my tunes from me. So that's good news. So on the bypass, you can connect the yellow and the red, and it will continue to bypass it. So I have no yellow wires connected to this thing. So my car is not talking to my radio, only I am. And since it is going through the cigarette lighter, it will shut off when I shut the car off. So theoretically, I really don't need this. But I did it, so it is what it is. And I'm not going to reverse engineer this because I'm getting kind of frustrated messing with my radio. But yeah,